Pico Scope 7, version 7.0.116. Waveform zoom options. This video is sponsored by AES Wave. Let's explore all the different ways you can zoom in on a pattern. Now, the first way would be to take this pattern and simply reduce the time across the screen. Every time I reduce the time, we get more detail on this pattern. At some point in time, the information scrolls off the screen. We can even do a vertical zoom. However, if I change my voltage level, such as going up to maybe a 10 volt, the waveform gets smaller. And if I go to a 2 volt, it goes off the screen and we get an over range. So on this ignition pattern, that 5 volt range puts it on the screen. We can come over to the display and we can change the scales so we can zoom this way, and this is known as a vertical zoom. Now, as you see, I'm losing stuff off the screen, but it's not over range. I can get it all back on the screen by changing my offset. And let's come down 2 times. And now we've got a form of a vertical zoom. If we go back to 2 patterns on the screen here, we can use the zoom tool over here on the right, and we can now zoom in on this pattern by drawing that marquee box across that pattern. Now, what's cool about this zoom tool is that we can get down to some real detail, and I can zoom it this way. And you notice the pattern went off the screen, but if I grab my hand tool, I can just drag and pull it back. So we've got the ability to scroll across this screen, and if I want to get more vertical, I can use this tool right here. If it goes off the screen, I simply grab with my hand tool and I can bring it back up. This allows me to get a lot of detail, especially if I want to look at these waveforms right in here. If I've got it where I want it and this little dialog box is in the way, I simply click the minus symbol and that'll make it nice and small and I can put it somewhere out of my way. If you want to get rid of all of your zoom, you can just click the X right here. You can also come on the screen and you can move the zoom around in this fashion, and you can even scale it using the handlebars versus the plus and minus. To get it off the screen, simply click the X. If you've set it to a long time base where you want to see multiple patterns, but you also want to get down to that detail, you can still do that with this zoom tool. Here I'm going to come over here, I'm going to take a look at this pattern. And now if I want to get even more detail, I can spread this out. And if it goes off the screen, just grab that hand tool and bring it back into the window. So as you can see, I can continue, and if I want to get a little bit more on my vertical, and we can get right down to that exact same detail we want to see, even though we've captured multiple patterns on the screen.